Welcome back to Intermat. Today we have the new head coach for Army West Point. It's Troy Nickerson. Thanks for joining us, Troy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Earl.
Yeah, so where are you at now? Are you? I thought I saw last week that you were already on campus, like a day or two after your hiring was announced. What's going on with the transition?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a bit of a whirlwind right now. I'm still in Colorado. I've got some commitments I need to kind of finalize here before I actually make the full move out to West Point. We've got 700 kids on campus here at Northern Colorado for camp next week. So trying to make sure that goes all smoothly. And then, I've got a couple camps out in Hawaii I need to finish up. Otherwise, my wife will kill me if we don't do those. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind working, kind of almost two jobs at once. But we're surviving and we're moving forward.
The family loves the camps in Hawaii. um, last year you're coming off a year at Northern Colorado. You finish up with two All-Americans. Good situation. So the Army job comes open. Obviously you're in a good place at Northern Colorado. But what appealed to you? Seeing that this job came open, this opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Northern Colorado for 11 years. This place was really good to me. We built it up to a really great spot. I feel really good about, where I'm leaving the program. I've had different job opportunities. I feel like every year, it's just, part of this gig. For me, it was, what was the right opportunity? And, West Point has always been one of those places that has just really intrigued me. I mean, one, I've got just a ton of respect for these cadets and everything that they do on a daily basis, right? These kids love doing hard things, and wrestling is a hard thing. And I think when you can be in an environment where you're working tirelessly every day, it makes you a better wrestler. Being at the preeminent, leadership institution in the world, we're really striving to make these cadets, leaders of the future, right? That's something that was really important to me. And then, also it's very unique, right? Because I feel like the previous coaching staff did a great job of setting this thing up where it's probably the best West Point team that's been here in the last 20 years, right? So I feel like I'm walking into a great situation, and my leadership, they want to win at the highest level, and I believe we're going to do that.
Yeah, and that's a great transition. I was going to say, lots of times in sports, not just wrestling, when you have a coaching transition, it might involve, a bad situation, kind of starting over from scratch. But, you have a team with a handful of NCAA qualifiers returning, broken All-American drought a couple years ago, ranked recruiting class coming in, probably even higher ranked recruiting class behind that. Who knows about 27? So yeah, there's a lot to be excited for, the situation you're walking into.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some conversations with Kevin Ward. He's, I've been picking his brain on kind of what's gone well, what needs to be improved. But even as I've been talking to the team, right, I feel like what's working is working, right? I'm not going to walk into this place and blow things up and kind of start from scratch. We're evaluating what's going well. We're going to make some little tweaks here and there, and we're going to just keep this thing moving forward.
Yeah, kind of playing off that Northern Colorado job, that was your first head coaching gig. I'm sure after being there for 11 years and looking back on it, maybe you say, if I have to do this again, maybe I'm going to emphasize this more from day one, or emphasize this less from day one, or do better at this. Is there some of those things that you've thought about over the years that now you're getting to implement?
Absolutely. And I think for me, the biggest piece is culture, right? And, talking to our team, there is a brotherhood there like no other, right? And I feel like every team in the country, right? I mean, everybody wants to talk about how great their culture is. Like, in today's world with this NIL and transfer portal, I mean, how real is it, right? I mean, it's just the reality. At West Point, we don't have to deal with that, right? We really don't. And, these kids, their bond is, I mean, it's thick. It runs deep. And, having that, just top notch, I mean, culture, it's refreshing, and it's something that we're going to continue to build off from, because it's going to make our team better in the long run.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to touch on. I imagine it has to be refreshing, kind of going into this sort of atmosphere, transfer portal, NIL, revenue sharing. That's got to be a huge headache and a huge kind of part of everyone's job, where it wasn't 10 years ago and it wasn't where you were competing. That's kind of something you're in the back seat now for you guys. You're just kind of focusing on the things that matter, winning wrestling matches, developing leaders, and getting stuff done in the classroom.
Yeah, wrestling. I don't think it's a complex process to winning at the highest level, right? It's very difficult, but for me, I mean, I've done it as an athlete. I've coached guys that have done it at the highest level. Right now I'm really spending a ton of time just working on developing those relationships with these cadets, and, seeing what makes them tick. And, once I get that full buy-in, once they trust me and know that, hey, coach knows what he's talking about. I mean, the opportunities are endless. And, again, you mentioned we've got 8 returning national qualifiers this year, right? We've got some great recruits that are coming in. This thing is about ready to burst, and we're going to, we're going to really shock the world. I'm really excited for it.
Something you kind of touched on earlier. I had the good fortune to go up to West Point maybe 6 years ago at this point, but it's just really a special place, and I can imagine once you're there on a daily basis, you'll probably be able to see some of those things all the time. You've been up there, I imagine, maybe as an athlete, and I know you've taken your team to the Black Knight Invitational. What are some things that you like about campus and just the whole West Point area, the campus?
Well, first off, I'm learning the lingo, and we don't call it campus; it's post, right?
That's right. So, that's right.
I told the guys, I said, just bear with me a little bit, right? I'm not just going to be your wrestling coach. I want to be, part of everything that you guys are doing. So, once I get out there, I mean, I'm going to jump out in the field with guys. I'm going to see some of their leadership development training that they're doing during the summertime. I want to get involved in every aspect of their lives. It is an absolutely beautiful place. I mean, it is. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen another campus throughout the country that is as beautiful as West Point is. Having the opportunity to raise my family on post, and just have my children grow up around some really high level people, good people. That's exciting, right? I mean, I'm moving into a situation where I'm going to live in the safest gated community in the world, right? So, I mean, it's really exciting for, not only the job piece, but just for my family as well. And just surrounding myself even around just high level individuals that I feel like are going to bring the best out in me.
And how far is it away from home originally for you?
It's about 2.5 hours from Bennington. Okay. I'll be honest. I mean, I know it, it's nice to be back home. That wasn't really a factor in this decision. It was really the opportunity. Being able to see my family a little bit more, that's going to be great, right? I'm really looking forward to that, but it had nothing to do with this opportunity. I mean, this is just, one of the best jobs in the country as far as I'm concerned.
All right, and so you said you've been communicating with Kevin Ward a lot about some of the intricacies of the program. I imagine Northern Colorado to West Point, there's definitely differences in the admissions process and who you're recruiting. So, are you kind of doing a crash course and all of that kind of fine print that you're going to have to work with?
Yeah, I mean, just figuring out the West Point way, For me, I spent time, obviously as an athlete, and a little bit on the coaching side at Cornell. So I understand what that piece looks like. Understanding the physical requirements that our cadets need to be able to, to join USMA. It's, it's something that I feel like the staff has done a really great job of just kind of keeping me in the loop on, hey, this is kind of how things operate. Talking to a lot of people within the athletic department about how things work. I know I'm looking forward to communicating more with some of the other coaches that are doing it at a really high level on post, and just finding out, kind of the West Point way.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. Scott Green had sent me a message and made sure that I remembered Shamrock Wrestling Club. I'm sure you guys have a relationship now that's at this point probably 20 some years old. Talk about that and those days with the Shamrock Club.
Yeah, it's probably been 30 years, that I've known Scott. And, I mean, it's funny how things work out, right? Just being able to reunite with him again. And, I think Scott has done a phenomenal job along with, the other staff that's currently in place, that the program's just in such a great spot. And, Shamrock, it was something that was really big in my development as a wrestler. And, Scott's a guy that I trust. It's honestly a full circle moment a little bit. So Scott's wife, Jen, she was actually my 7th grade homeroom teacher. And she is working at the elementary school on post right now. And next year, she's actually going to spend some time with my 4-year-old. So that's going to be pretty,
That's wild.
It's a real full circle moment, right? I mean, it's pretty neat how things work out.
All right, and so I mentioned being on post before, and going to the Beat Navy tunnel. Across all sports, when you're coaching at West Point, you can have a good year, but you lose to Navy, then it's always kind of a little, it takes a little luster off of it. I know you as an athlete, I think when you were competing, that Lehigh rivalry was pretty hot and heavy. Are you ready for these Navy star matches?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've seen those rivalries in the past, right? You mentioned the Cornell Lehigh. When I was at Iowa State, the Iowa State rivalry. The last few years, I feel like we've done a better job of making, the Northern Colorado Wyoming rivalry more of a rivalry. So I've seen those in the past, but until I was on post, I didn't realize how big that match is, right? I mean, I probably saw 300 signs on post where it was, hey, Beat Navy, right? So it's like, okay, this is real, right? And obviously there's going to be a huge emphasis put on that, but I'll also refer to our superintendent, General Gilland, right? And he told me, like, obviously, yes, that's a priority, right? But, beat Navy, beat Air Force, all the other military academies out there. But, if we go 2-10, it's still not great, right? It's still not great. Like, we want to win all the matches. So there is going to be that emphasis put on Navy, but we're going to win well beyond Navy as well.
All right. So speaking of rivalries, I know you like a little bit of baseball and Yankees. That's your loyalty. How are you and Scott Green going to be able to hang out during the Subway Series?
It's crazy because, I mean, I feel like Scott is the only person in the world that actually likes the Mets. But no, I mean, I'm kidding, obviously. But no, I mean, I'm looking forward to being able to, take my boys to some games. I mean, we'll just jump on the train and just jump right down there to the Bronx. Living in Colorado, I probably haven't been able to follow as closely as I'd like, without the S network and everything. But it's definitely, looking forward to that experience as well.
Awesome. Well, I know that you've got a lot of commitments and a lot of going on right now. So, do you have anything else that you want to hit on before we sign off here?
I mean, just really grateful for this opportunity, right? I mean, I'm really appreciative of my administration at Northern Colorado and all they've done for me. Looking forward to watching that program continue to succeed. But this next chapter of kind of my coaching career, is really something that I'm looking forward to. We have a lot of people in place that want to win at the highest levels. We are going to develop great leaders for tomorrow, obviously, but we're going to win a lot of wrestling matches as it goes through as well. So really just looking forward to getting to posts and hitting the ground running.
All right. Thanks to Troy Nickerson for joining us and taking so much time, the busy time of the week and year for you.
Thank you.